So it just came out that the YouTuber Twomad has recently passed away, and I gotta say, the internet's reaction to his passing honestly surprised me. So if you don't know who Twomad is, he was a super popular creator here on YouTube for a while. He had over 2 million subscribers, and he was most known for his meme where he goes, "Goodnight girl," and then falls over. I'm sure many of you guys have seen that. But it recently come out that he had actually passed away due to an apparent overdose, which I mean, I think anyone passing away at such a young age due to something preventable is honestly kind of devastating. But it looks like most of the internet was actually celebrating his passing, which at first I was a little surprised by, but then I remember over the last year he went pretty much completely insane over the internet. He actually got some pretty major allegations against him, and with some very concerning behavior to one of his possible ex-girlfriends and that kind of thing. Apparently he was even going through like a lawsuit for these reasons, and the way he responded to these allegations was just absolutely horrible. He didn't take it seriously at all, and he was making jokes about it. So yeah, when you get allegations made against you that are really serious and you don't make a serious response, of course people are going to be, you know, preying on your downfall, and that looks like exactly what happened to Twomad. So his passing has been confirmed by TMZ as well as California death reports, so it looks like yes, he was actually confirmed passing. So the YouTuber Twomad, dead at 23, investigated as a possible OD. An eerie fact about one of the last things Twomad appears to have been doing before he passed: according to his Discord page, he was playing Overwatch and seems to have not changed his active status for nearly a week. What a way to go. Law enforcement sources tell us the internet personality, who has millions of followers across his various YouTube channels and social pages, was found unresponsive Tuesday night at his Los Angeles area home. This after somebody called in a welfare check, so maybe one of his family members hadn't heard from him in a bit. And I think this is a perfect example of why you should not be taking hard drugs, because dude literally overdosed like in his early 20s, and that's it. He's gone forever now. But it sounds like he got into a lot of these harder drugs after these allegations came out, and he obviously, I guess that kind of makes more sense when you think about it. He wasn't taking them seriously. It sounded like he was just doing harder and harder stuff until it eventually led to his OD and eventual passing, which to an extent is definitely tragic, but I can see why a lot of the internet doesn't have sympathy for him. So of course it was important to do a welfare check on Twomad, because if you know anything about this guy, if you hadn't heard from him in a while, there was probably something wrong with him, because Twomad was insanely chronically online. Like sometimes this guy would tweet up to 100 times a day, and so not hearing from him for a couple days would definitely worry me too. And I definitely feel bad for his family. You know, it sucks to lose, you know, a brother or a son or anything, so that's really unfortunate for the family. I definitely, you know, I feel bad for them. But so we're told Twomad hasn't been heard from in several days by concerned parties, and even missed some appointments. As a result, the LAPD was sent to check up on him, and that's when they found his body. It's unclear how long he'd been in that state. Our sources say that there is drug paraphernalia found on the scene and at the point, and we're told that it's being investigated as a possible overdose, and no foul play is suspected in the death. Twomad was embroiled in controversy as of late, and he seems to have been off the radar in recent months when it came to his content creation. His last video across all 3 of his channels was 5 months ago, and he certainly seemed to be in good spirits in it. And yeah, I think that's the crazy thing. It's like Twomad was just like every other average, you know, normal content creator just a couple years ago. I even talked to this guy in the DMs a couple times, because I think I posted some meme and he found it and he's like, send it to me. And so he sounded like a normal person, just like an average every other day guy, like a couple years ago. And then it looks like he did some, you know, he messed up things with his ex-girlfriend, and then he went to like hard drugs, and it's just like over a couple of years he destroyed his entire life. And it's unfortunately, it really is on him. Sounds like one of the reasons he stopped uploading on YouTube was of course because those allegations that came out, you know, just about a year ago, maybe like 10 or 11 months ago. But yeah, if you Google it, there's even videos, you know, Twomad responded, Twomad has snapped, and all this controversy that happened a couple months back. And here's a tweet with the official death certificate. Some news sites are reporting that Twomad died last night. I just verified that he's listed on the Los Angeles County's coroner website as deceased. People, especially on Twitter, were making the craziest jokes about it. This one guy said, "Dude, effing move. You're costing us the game, Twomad." But I definitely think this is exactly the kind of humor that Twomad would be completely okay with. And this guy said, "MF died with Overwatch open, LMAO." Yeah, that is the craziest way to die. Like, I saw a ton of people talking about that, where he's just like, the game was so mid that it actually took him from us, which is absolutely insane. And I think the craziest thing I saw come out about Twomad's passing was that within an hour of it being reported, this major YouTuber called Jameski, he has over 2 million subscribers, came up with these insane allegations that have never been heard of until literally after he passed, which is kind of insane. And if you don't know the relationship between Jameski and Twomad, Jameski was helping the girl that Twomad allegedly assaulted sue him. Actually, Jameski was funding the girl's lawsuit against Twomad, but he tweeted out this. I can finally say it. Twomad was a blank and a blank. Over the past few years, he tried to end me on multiple times for helping the police and detectives in multiple states to investigate a lot of horrible things he's done. He wanted to take out multiple innocent lives by getting behind a wheel and going head on a freeway while being high on illegal drugs. He didn't succeed once as he overdosed before ending anybody, so he tried it again. Despite him trying to end me and multiple innocent lives, I've been trying to help law enforcement to make sure he's safe, doesn't get hurt, and doesn't harm anybody. Please remember that he's a blank and a blank. He continued to prey on the vulnerable, even after the police got involved, including a potential 13-year-old in a mental hospital. The tragedy of this doesn't excuse any of his actions. And I gotta say, this is one of the craziest ways to release allegations that I've ever seen. He says, "I will address a lot of this stuff when I fully collect my thoughts. Past few months have been a total mess and reason why I ended up in the ER. Please give me time." And I gotta say, this is one of the craziest ways to give allegations against someone. And I gotta say, that last little part where he's like, "I'll fully address things when I've collected my thoughts," I gotta say, it really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand this is a crazy thing if true, but if you're gonna come out with these major allegations that no one's heard about right after this guy's passing, it rubs me the wrong way. Like, don't get me wrong, it did sound like Twomad was a bad person, or at least he did some bad things. Not giving him the opportunity to respond to these allegations is insane. And I know some people will say, you know, he had months and months and months to respond to the allegations, but that's just not true in my opinion. He had months to respond to the lawsuit allegations, you know, against potentially assaulting his ex-girlfriend, and he didn't do that, and that's completely on him. I give you that. But these are completely new allegations that he can no longer respond to because he's no longer here with us. And I think the craziest thing is to post this without proof. I think there's a decent chance that a lot of the stuff Jameski is saying is probably right, and he probably does have some proof, but posting it right after this guy's passing with absolutely no evidence, it's obviously going to leave it open for interpretations, and people are not going to be immediately trusting of it. And I think that just it really undervalues the allegations in the first place. But yeah, if any of this stuff is true, it just makes Twomad look so much worse. And I definitely understand why the internet is making jokes about his passing, you know, because apparently he tried to game end, you know, Jameski and multiple people on a freeway, which is just absolutely insane. And I think it's a really important reminder that you need to take care of your mental health, and also don't do hard drugs, because this guy literally went from a normal everyday person to apparently, you know, trying to end his within a few years, as well as potentially assaulting his ex-girlfriend. I mean, these are just crazy things that are going to happen when you do things like hard drugs and don't take care of your mental health, because of course a lot of the things that Twomad did were absolutely horrible, but can we all just agree that this guy was like severely mentally ill? And don't get me wrong, that doesn't excuse it. Like, yeah, he should have got help, but obviously he wasn't in his right mind for at least the last couple of years, and it looks like the entire situation ended with his passing. So hopefully Jameski comes out with an official response with some real evidence against this stuff, even though, yes, I do believe what he's saying, but I do think there should be, you know, some actual evidence he provides. But what I really hope is that not only Twomad's family is okay, of course his passing is hard on them, but also his ex-girlfriend, which is an apparent victim, as well as Jameski. I hope they can move on from the situation, because yeah, it looked like Twomad definitely terrorized a lot of the people he was close to, which is just really shitty of him. But I guess that's just the end of Twomad. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments.